Hello, and welcome back to this episode of Best in the Biz. I'm your host, Ian McDonald, talking business with CNA entrepreneurs. Today with me is Alex Hennifent, owner and operator of VOLTFUSE. So thanks a lot, Alex, for coming on today.
Thanks for having me in and for being persistent. I know we've been trying to do this for a long time, so finally the stars have aligned.
Hey, good stuff. Yeah, no, I really appreciate you sitting down with me. So to get started, tell us a little bit about VOLTFUSE and how it really got started.
Yeah, so VoltFuse is a specialty headwear and apparel brand. We primarily target the outdoor markets, specifically snowboarding, skateboarding, and the board sports realm or niche per se. And yeah, started the business back in 2010. I was at the age of 14 at the time. Really just as a way to kind of foster snowboarding and get people together here in the Maritimes and in Newfoundland and Labrador. There really wasn't much in the way of like a community building mechanism. So it definitely kind of served as that purpose. And a few years into it, I was just kind of like, holy cow, here we are. It's a business. And just kind of subconsciously, that's how it all kind of came together. And yeah, going on almost 15 years later, still doing it, still making hats, still trying to get out snowboarding as much as I can.
Awesome. That's really cool. Started with 14. That's a young age to get started. So it's really nice to see that you're carrying on there, and also doing what you love, snowboarding.
Yeah.
So it's great that you can tie a business in with that as well. So bring me through the early days about how you really got started when you were at such a young age.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, it was from very humble grassroots origins. Like, never once did I ever say to myself I wanted to be an entrepreneur or I wanted to start a business. Frankly, I didn't know what I was, hoping to do as a career or as a profession, and much the same as many other young people here in the province. And yeah, just kind of growing up, never really had much that kind of kept myself busy, and kind of discovered snowboarding alongside of my father. We went to Marble together, and he's a natural at whatever he does. Very quickly, he figured it out. I, funny enough, struggled the first year or so, and then eventually was able to connect the dots. And yeah, just kind of realized immediately that this is something that kind of all the stars kind of aligned. I finally had found something that kind of really gave me purpose and kind of drove me to kind of constantly, want to keep busy and improve at that one thing. So it kind of served as that, and kind of throw all the jigs and the reels, and just kind of trying to find ways to do more of that, which obviously kind of ticked the boxes for me. Kind of seeing an opportunity to build products and to build a brand that kind of addressed a niche within this industry, and that was like kind of the clicking moment. Just finding ways that we could differentiate in the smallest of ways within the realm of headwear and accessories, and yeah, kind of started doing that and wholesaling our products in various different snowboard and skateboard shops across Newfoundland, and then eventually able to expand our retail footprint across Canada. And then obviously e-commerce was such a pivotal turning point within this space, and then that kind of quickly took over the distribution channel as well. And yeah, kind of just chasing snowboarding and trying to find ways to address a market and to kind of keep relevant, and that's how it kind of started.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you talked about a couple of the different communities. I mean, Newfoundland, yeah, the two ski hills here, absolutely phenomenal. Seems like there's a really good community. I've just started skiing myself a couple years ago. Been a member at Marble for the past couple years, and you can see the community there. It's a great community, and it's one to build off of for sure.
Marble, yeah. I mean, Newfoundland's a hidden gem in that sense. Like, winters can sometimes be unpredictable, especially here on the Avalon. But yeah, Marble definitely strikes it really good with snow, and their greatest disadvantage is also one of their greatest advantages. The fact that there isn't a ton of people that go there. There's practically no lift lineup, so you can definitely get as many runs in as possible. And there's also Smoky Mountain in Labrador, which is another truly hidden gem. So we're definitely fortunate to kind of have those three different hills at our disposal here on the island.
Yeah, I was going to mention that actually. I see on your socials that you do quite a bit at Smoky Mountain and Lab City, so that's nice to see as well.
Yeah, definitely try our best to get up there a couple times a year to kind of show them some love. As you probably know, Labrador oftentimes gets overshadowed and forgotten about. So definitely a special place.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And can't beat it for snow.
Lots of snow.
Yeah, tons of snow, tons of snow. So wrapping it back to CNA a bit, what did you study at CNA, and what kind of role did CNA play with respect to your business?
Yeah, so I graduated high school. At that point, I had been kind of evolving this thing that I was calling VOLTFUSE for a couple of years, and kind of with it in mind that I wanted to go to a place that allowed me to keep snowboarding. Um, with the encouragement of my parents, they kind of steered me in the direction of Corner Brook. Obviously, Marvel was there. There was a couple of business programs available through the CNA, and also the university had a couple things going. But honestly, like I didn't really know what for sure I wanted to do. Like I knew I was running this business, and obviously it was treating me well, and it was allowing me to do what I enjoyed doing. But parents being parents, obviously you need to kind of have something to fall back on should things not work out. So without wanting to commit to 4 years at university, CNA just kind of made sense. It was an opportunity for me to kind of tick those boxes, get a tangible piece of paper under my belt, and obviously connect some of the fundamentals of business and kind of correlate that with what I had already been doing for a few years. So
Yep.
yeah, kind of enrolled into the business admin program at CNA, kind of had it in mind that I was going to do the first year and just kind of revisit, see how it went. Obviously, you have the option of doing that diploma. Did that and kind of got into a good rhythm, made some good friends, had a lot of fun with professors, and yeah, committed to the second year, did the marketing diploma, and eventually kind of steered that up to Grenfell, just up on the hill there, and tied it all together with a degree.
You talked about bringing yourself to, I guess, like the national market and things like that. How did you really get there, and what was the big jumping point, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, so like we at that point, I'll just kind of like put a pin into like where we would have been during the Kona years. So like at that point, still pretty balanced between like wholesale and direct to consumer e-commerce.
Yep.
Um, so like obviously having a channel or a presence online and having a platform where people can go and view your products, interact with it, and purchase them all on one domain
Yep.
is a pretty effective way of kind of making some noise, despite the fact that we're obviously geographically kind of disconnected from everything else. So in the current landscape, we've definitely got that going in your favor, and it's never been easier to start a business and to test an idea or a concept and just kind of feel it out online. So that was where I recognized things needed to go if I was really going to take it to that next level. And yeah, just kind of thinking about ways that we could make noise and be relevant and kind of make a name for VOLTFUSE. So then that kind of like went into the direction of like content marketing and finding ways that we can produce content that kind of stirred the emotions and gave people something that they could latch onto. And it was during those years where we started to produce short films and shoot more photography around the island, which kind of showcased snowboarding and in various different places where people wouldn't necessarily picture snowboarding to be happening. And you know, at the beginning, it started from a community building standpoint, and then I just kind of realized, in the grand scheme of things, like we're not in Whistler, we're not in Colorado, we don't have a ton of geography or mountains and topography going in our favor. Winters can sometimes be unpredictable, but at the end of the day, we're doing this thing, which is snowboarding, because it's what we enjoy doing. And we're doing that with those that we enjoy doing it with. So
Yep.
that was kind of the angle and the tone that we took with our marketing strategy, was really just kind of connecting people, getting people excited about, the whole reason why we do it, which is because we enjoy snowboarding, we enjoy doing it with our friends. So if you watch a lot of the content that we would have produced over the years, it's definitely like kind of very feel good and kind of serving the purpose of like highlighting individuals and their stories and the communities that they formed around, where they reside and what it is that makes them who they are. And yeah, it seemed to resonate. So over the past 6 years, we've produced a number of different video projects all across Canada, really, and those were definitely like the criteria, and in terms of like going to smaller places, highlighting those that reside there, and kind of creating a really captivating special piece of content that tells a story. And yeah, people seem to like it, and it definitely allowed us to make noise and kind of also test our products in different places along the way while producing these pieces of content.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I mean, there's not many places better than Newfoundland for storytelling. So that's one of the big benefits of being a Newfoundland and Labrador. And
Yeah.
I was going to mention too, I did see some of the videos of they produced in St. Anthony and a couple of the different spots. And I think that's one of the benefits too is Newfoundland is such a place-based uh, location in Canada, and it's so important. The people, the location, the place, the culture, everything about it is so important, and it gives a big benefit to a lot of businesses like yours.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that I mean, it in pursuing all of this, it's just kind of obviously opened up a ton of different doors and kind of sparked up all these new passions. And one of those being storytelling and filmmaking. And it's been a lot of fun just being able to work with different people and help them share their stories. So be it somewhere in Manitoba or somewhere in Labrador or somewhere up on the Northern Peninsula, like you were just mentioning, the latest snowboard project that we did in St. Anthony, it was just really cool to go to these places and just kind of lift the veil and kind of tell those stories. And more recently, we've actually expanded the scope of the brand outside of just winter sports. And last year, we released a documentary which kind of tells the story of this very special river in Western Newfoundland, the Serpentine Valley, and kind of just expanded it out of snowboarding, which was such a like a foreign thought if you were to ask me like 10 years ago where would the brand be going. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean it's definitely like an extension of like who I am and like some of the experiences that I've been able to encounter along the way, and kind of discovering fly fishing 5 years ago, and then kind of having conversations with different team members who also fly fish and snowboard, and kind of using that as like reassurance that these two different things were somewhat compatible, and kind of in terms of why we do it, and the natural environments that these sports take us to. Yeah, it was just really cool to see the synergy there between like snowboarding and fly fishing, and now kind of taking some of those experiences and some of those inspirations into our product development. It's been really fun.
yeah, that's absolutely phenomenal. And like you said, it's so important to keep expanding. And like you said, it's not always the straight path. I mean, going into a summer sport, I mean, it's really cool that you've done that.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to
and
evolve.
yeah, for
Definitely.
sure.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there, but I mean, again, skiing and snowboarding brings you to some of the most special places on the island in the backcountry, things like that. And it's the same with fly fishing. I mean, Serpentine River and Lake, that's some of the most beautiful spots on the island, and some of the most hidden
Stunning.
gems. Absolutely
Stunning, truly.
phenomenal. Yep. So switching gears a bit, you've had a lot of success with different awards, competitions, Global Student Entrepreneur Awards, Enactus, the Globe and Mail, just to name a few. How have those opportunities really helped develop your business, both in terms of, financial support and also access to valuable resources?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those opportunities and pitch events that you just referenced were things that kind of came up actually during my post-secondary days at CNA and at Grenfell. And through the help of some of my professors, they kind of made me aware of some of these opportunities. And yeah, it was cool to get nominated and have the opportunity to go to these different cities across Canada and just kind of like tell my story and showcase what VOLTFUSE is all about, and kind of the journey that I've been on, and the course that we were planning to take it. But yeah, it was cool. Just obviously, when you live in a place like Newfoundland where you're kind of disconnected from everything, it's definitely good to kind of see what's going on firsthand elsewhere in terms of like what other entrepreneurs and what other small businesses are doing. So
Definitely.
in doing that, it was, yeah, obviously amazing networking, amazing just to kind of, amazing just professional development, just to kind of get up in front of a crowd and pitch your business, and kind of just gauge the response and the feedback towards everything you've done. But obviously, it's given the brand and myself like a ton of experience and credibility in terms of like what we've done and the things we've overcome. But yeah, a lot of those definitely have come up through the experiences at TNA and some of the help that the professors were able to give us. And I gotta say, it was a really cool time of my career, I guess we'll say.
Yep.
Just being able to kind of go there and do those things in these different places, and just kind of represent TNA and Grenfell on the way.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's great seeing it was such a great help, and same with Grumpful. So that's really nice to hear, and it seems like it really ties into what you're doing now. it was pitches and stuff like that. It was telling your story, and it seems like
Mhm.
you've kind of grown with that, and that's exactly what you're doing now with these new short films and things like that. So it's great to see.
Yep, it was a lot of fun, I gotta say.
Yeah, so apart from these awards, what has been the most successful business moment that kind of just comes to your mind? Maybe it was the most fun you've had, or one of the bigger business moments that you've had that you'll never forget.
Yeah, I mean, what I get the biggest kick out of in terms of like the process is definitely some of those films
Yep.
that we've been able to produce over the years. Just the whole process of like identifying a story and then working with those behind that story to plan the project, execute the shoot, and then everything that goes into editing it and then releasing it is
Yep.
it's an amazing process. It's an insane process. So much goes into it, but like once it all comes together and you've got a neatly tied together project that you can release into the world and just kind of see how people respond to that, it's one of the most gratifying, fulfilling things that you can go through. So I mean, yeah, that just that whole process is just selfishly one of the things that I enjoy most about running this business. And just looking back at the Biggest Little Hill series, if I were to kind of put a pin into one project as a whole, like back in 2019, we traveled across Canada and we basically told the stories of these very community-driven grassroots ski resorts all the way from BC back to Labrador. And
Wow.
that was an amazing experience just to kind of see, what the national landscape kind of looked like in terms of small scale ski resorts, which is all that we really know here in Newfoundland and Labrador. So it was cool to kind
Exactly.
of use that as the common thread across Canada and kind of use that to kind of guide us along the way and just kind of see how people operate these very rinky dink operations and kind of make things work just for the sake of skiing and snowboarding. But yeah, like the biggest accomplishment outside of like what I enjoy doing, I would say like in in terms of like recent developments is probably the launch of our custom headwear program. So, like I said, we've been this thing that we call VOLTFUSE. I always kind of joke about it because it's still so hard to comprehend. Like the fact that it's been existing and operating up for 15 years, which is still nuts. But at the core of it, yeah, we make headwear and we sell headwear, really nice headwear that's different, that pays extreme detail to like the fabrics and these very like nuanced details that like most other companies wouldn't even consider.
Yep.
So like that has always been kind of like the thing, the vehicle that we kind of use to allow us to do all these other things that we do as a brand. And in developing these really special products that we sell to snowboarders and skateboarders and skiers all across the world, um, just kind of organically, there's been a demand that has formed from other businesses and other brands who also value quality and authenticity in their own domain in terms of like what they operate as and what they provide to their own customer base.
Yep.
So yeah, we've kind of always been quietly helping a number of other companies in the background kind of enhance their own merchandise strategy and develop really unique headwear products that they can then sell and to their own customer base or just have as like internal swag. And yeah, in the last week or so, actually, we just officially launched our custom headwear program publicly now. So it's no
Ah, very
longer
cool.
operated as like a if you know type thing. It's
Yeah, yeah.
something tangible now where people can go and they can see all of our past work and they can kind of get all the details on ways that we can help them with their own vision.
That is absolutely awesome. It seems like it's good timing for the podcast.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
that out there.
perfect timing, really.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, and it seems like you're really expanding. And like I said, 15 years, it flies by so fast.
Oh
So
my
it's
goodness.
it's important to appreciate every moment, and it seems like you've had a great journey on your business so far.
Yep, I gotta say, and it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, just nuts to look at where it started and where it is now, and just the years are flying on by, and grateful for every one of them.
Yep, that's absolutely fantastic. So last question I have here, we ask this to all our guests. What piece of advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur?
A piece of advice would I give to somebody else?
Yeah, someone looking
Probably,
just to get started.
yeah. I mean, there's so many different angles you could take that, but just like in general, probably is just like give it a shot. I mean, have conversations, speak to people, get feedback, fresh feedback from kind of a variety of different opinions to inform, what that idea or what that business might look like. And then just do it, try it, see if it, see if it works, see if it fails. I mean, it's okay to fail too. There's been that many failures that I've encountered along the way, but ultimately they all kind of come together and inform where things need to go in order to make them work. So, yeah, I don't know. Feedback is really important though. Getting the help of others and not being afraid to ask for help is definitely something that I've kind of learned the hard way earlier on. I kind of have been guilty of like just being really siloed and not getting opinions of others and kind of asking for help when the time is right. But yeah, it's absolutely okay to ask for help. And in fact, you're only holding yourself back if you're not open to that idea.
Yeah, for sure. And Newfoundland and Labrador, like I said, again, it's a great spot. There's so many different supports out there. So good location.
Yep. And to kind of tie that into CNA, obviously you guys have, I know at CNA in Cornerbrook, there was a Navigate Entrepreneurship Center, which was enormously valuable to myself. And I know that's a cross partnership with Grenfell as well. And yeah, that was super, super helpful. Just kind of like going through obviously post-secondary and kind of grinding through your studies, but also trying to run a business on the side. It was nice to kind of have that zone as a bit of a safe space to kind of just go in there and just kind of speak business and talk shop with different mentors and people who are also doing it at the time. It was really helpful.
Yeah, that's so important. And like you said, Navigate is there. I'm always here as well with CNA. Cover all the 17 campuses. So if anyone wants to talk shop with me, feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for. So yeah, and you talked about mentorship too. We also have a mentorship program, and that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs don't really get when they start off. But it's such an important piece of starting a business and having that experienced mentor to really bounce ideas off of. So if you're interested in that, please reach out.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so thank you, Alex. Really appreciate you coming on. Finally got it done, which is fantastic. Great story, and really appreciate it. So last thing, would you like to share your socials?
Sure. You can find more about VOLTFUSE at VOLTFUSE.com, and that's probably the easiest place to send people on there. You can find all of our social channels, and also on the footer of our website, there's a link to our all new custom program. If you find yourself working for a business or owning a business that values those sorts of things, feel free to get in touch. We'd be happy to help.
Right on.
Here are the key takeaways from my chat with Alex. Number 1, discover your why. At its foundation, VOLTFUSE is a team doing what they enjoy with people they enjoy. And that has been the basis of their whole marketing strategy. Because VOLTFUSE is about community building, they leaned into content marketing that highlights real people and their stories. Having a clear purpose has allowed the business to evolve into other areas, like fly fishing, while staying true to their brand. Remember, it's not just about what you do, it's about why you do it. Number 2, quality matters. Specializing in headwear for snowboarders, skiers, and skateboarders worldwide, VOLTFUSE has built a reputation for quality which sets them apart in a competitive market. Their focus on the details has even created demand from other brands looking to enhance their product strategy. And number 3, seek feedback. Good ideas usually don't happen in a vacuum. To grow and succeed, you need to get feedback from others. Ideally, you want constructive criticism from a variety of opinions. So ask for help, have conversations, and put yourself and your ideas out there. If you're wondering who to bounce ideas off of, connect with me at cna.nl.ca/entrepreneurship. Our Entrepreneurship Hub is here to help entrepreneurs with everything from concept development to operation streamlining. Thanks for listening.